Live. Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, from wherever you're. Okay. Hello, everybody. Yeah. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, from wherever you're joining us from. This is King Squares Inc. Graduate School Masterclass Series. Okay. And the theme for this session is breaking mental limits, how you can prepare your mind for success. And with us today is Francis Arihilam, a psychotherapist, who would be walking us through this session. Okay, it's going to be a wonderful session. I can assure you that already. So you just need to prep your mind, and then if you're just joining, tell your friends that we're live, so they should join in. Okay, yeah. So okay, I can see Oshoke here already. Okay, so we're live already. So let your friends know we're live. You can share the link. Let me do a bit of sharing here myself. So we are live now. So join in. Okay, join the conversation. Um, don't sleep on this, please. Don't sleep on this, people. Don't sleep on it. Don't sleep on it. Okay. Um, Graduate school is can be pretty draining mentally. The entire process can be pretty draining mentally, and then we thought it fit to organize this program to prepare you. As many of you are aware, a circle just began this July, and that's against January and August, September of next year. Okay, so there are a lot of factors that come into play regarding you getting your desired program. Not even think of getting the funding required for your master's or PhD program. Okay, you have to go through loads of hassles, your essay writing process, application fees, writing some professional exams, and all of that. Reaching out to potential supervisors as well. Yeah, and then what if you don't get in after everything? What happens next? Okay, what becomes of your career? What becomes of your life? What do you want to do? Why exactly are you even after a master's or PhD program abroad? Why do you want to quote Japan out of the country? Yeah, and because of that, we've decided to bring this platform, okay, where we can rub minds together, discuss, and get specific insights. Okay, so I'm just still giving us like a couple more minutes. So tell your friends if you're here, just let us know in the chat box that you're joining. I'm still sharing. So let your friends know that we are live now. Okay, so you can join in if you haven't already. Okay, I can see Mercy, super excited to be here. We are super excited to have you as well. Nice of you to come around. Okay, yeah, nice of you to come around, Mercy. Okay, so okay, so I will just run through. Okay, let me. Should I still give a couple of minutes more? Okay, so let me just go through my idea again, once again, behind this program. Like I said, for so many persons, the idea behind a master's PhD program is basically to travel abroad for their education and afterwards get a job or two, or some will want to come back and then from there start a life. Okay, and then the process itself can be very arduous, especially when you need funding. You want funding for your master's, you want to win a scholarship and get funding for your master's or PhD program. Okay, and many persons usually kind of like break down in between based on the fact that the mindset is not right. And then when eventually maybe they don't go through at the first attempt, they feel okay, this is the end. There is no other, there's nothing left for me in this world per se. But it's not really the end, okay? Okay, guys, it's not the end. And I want you to know that, okay, Chidima is there as well. Thank you for joining us, Chidima. Okay, yeah, so that is why I thought it fits now that an application circle had just started to bring in Francis Arihilam, an experienced and seasoned psychotherapist, okay, who is also the head human resources West Africa at AutoCheck Africa, and He joined the firm in 2020 as a talent acquisition and people analytics specialist. Okay. And also, he is a lecturer at the Institute of Counseling in Nigeria. And is an alumnus of the John Hopkins University, Wharton School as well. And he's also a proud alumnus of Lushola Lanre Coaching Academy. Yeah. We got certificates in Neuro Linguistic Programming. Okay, so it's 5:05 already, and I would not want to. We are working with time, yeah. So immediately I'll be handing over to Francis Arihilam, who will be walking us through this session, breaking mental limits, how you can prepare your mind for success. Last call. Tell your friends to join in. So, sir, over to you, sir.
Thank you so much, Emmanuel. I think I'm very privileged to be here. I can see some of my friends in the chat section. I can see Chidima. Chidima, it's great to see you. Sexy profile. Well, Emmanuel is hyping me, but it's okay. It's nice to actually be here. Messi, I can see you. Gideon, I can see you. Sure Care Travels, see you. Thank you so much, everyone. I'm really excited to be here. And then thank you so much, Emmanuel, for what you're doing in this
Oh,
particular space. And like we were discussing prior to the program, I think that it's okay if people want to leave
yes,
particular country and migrate to another country. You know, the world is becoming a lot more open. We are supposed to actually be global citizens, case may be.
true, true.
Um, so the conversation today really is around, breaking mental limits. And I would just like to start the conversation asking a couple of questions, and then we can talk through those questions, right? Um,
Okay.
I'm hoping that people can engage in the chat section with any
Yes.
questions they have. So, first question is, and I really want us to go on this journey together because I'm still trying to unravel it. I'm still trying to truly, truly figure it out because it's sort of been um, something that has puzzled my mind for a very, very long time. I started to
Okay.
find some answers to it, but I still want to use this opportunity to get fresh perspective about it. And my simple question is, what exactly is success? What does it mean to be successful?
Okay.
What does it mean to be successful? Is success the absence of failure? Is success the attainment of a particular defined standard, a particular defined height? What exactly is success? And this question I have asked myself because um, you see someone who lives in a studio apartment somewhere in Lagos, technically, and Lagos, Nigeria now. And when you ask this person, are you happy? Are you fine? Do
Yeah.
you feel like you've achieved what you want to achieve in this life? Surprisingly, the person can tell you, yes, I've heard it before. And you see someone else living in a $500 million mansion somewhere in Dallas. And then you ask this person as well, like, are you successful? And then the person says, yes, I feel like I'm successful. And when you ask the both of them, why do you think that you're successful? The person who stays in a studio apartment somewhere in Lagos, Nigeria will tell you, I have this. And then the person who stays in the $500 million apartment in Dallas will tell you, I have this. Right? The big question, the big question then is, who is more successful than the other? Who
Amazing.
is actually successful and who is not?
Okay.
Now, the reason why I'm asking these questions is because we need to take a step back and ask ourselves, how did we come about our definitions of what success really means? How did you come about it? How did you come about your definition, your idea, your perception, your belief, your acceptance of what success truly means? How, really? How did you? And when you answer that question correctly, you can then begin to trace back where your mental blocks and your mental limitations came from.
Okay.
It may be shocking to you, but you would begin to discover that someone, somewhere, a group of people, a set of people sat down and defined for you what a successful life should look like. And the truth again is, what they have defined may not be wrong.
Okay.
It will not be wrong, but the most important thing that is to be understood here is success is contextual.
Hmm.
Success is
It's-
contextual.
Okay.
Someone may choose to stay back in their home country and pursue a career and do something, and they are happy. Someone else may choose to leave their home country to a new place, pursue something different, and they are successful. You know, the
True.
reason is because when we look at the media today, there is I will call it a misguided sense of what success truly portrays, what success truly is. It's defined by material possessions, perfect body, perfect look, and all these things. Good as those things may be, but then the question is, how did you as a person define your success?
To success. True.
How? And I'm sharing all of this because I have had a personal journey. And it is out of this personal journey that I am sharing my personal experience. I came to a point where I could really care less about what the other person is doing and much more about what I have done in the past versus what I am doing now versus what I want to do in the future.
Hmm.
It's really very important. You see, that is the first. See, if you want to be happy and you want to succeed, that is the first hurdle to cross.
Okay.
And the hurdle is what? Define for yourself what success means.
Hmm.
Now, you may not. So let me give you an example of what I'm talking about.
Right.
So we live in a world now where a lot of this business decisions, a lot of decisions around what people do is based on statistical data, right? For those who
Yes.
are
Yeah.
in economics, statistics, to say, okay, the statistical data. And what does statistics or statistical data mean? It just simply says that a sizable number of people are maybe gravitating towards this thing, or a sizable number of people are actually doing this thing. So 10,000 people can actually be championing an idea. 10,000 people can actually, 1 million people can actually be subscribing to an idea.
True.
But that doesn't make that idea good for you as a person. And that
Hmm.
doesn't make that idea bad for them. You understand what I'm trying to say? That does
Yes. Yeah.
so that doesn't make the idea bad for them. It neither doesn't make the idea, it either doesn't make the idea good for you.
Good. Okay.
The
Okay.
idea can only be good for you when you have taken it and applied it within the context of who you are as a person,
Hmm.
within the context of the things that you have achieved. Now, there are a couple of things that play significant role in your future as a person: your upbringing, your environment, and the significant emotional experiences that you have had. You see these three things. Um, I actually feel I love motivation. I actually think that motivation plays a very significant role in actually helping people succeed. But I
Okay.
think the missing element is that there needs to be substance added to it. You know, when you just tell people to do something, you need to be able to walk them through the journey of why they need to do that stuff.
Okay.
So why I said that is, you know, for example, someone can motivate you and say, you know, you don't have to care about your background. Your background it does where you come from doesn't matter. That's a blatant
Yeah.
lie.
Yes. People say that a
That
lot.
is, I stand here to tell you today that that is a blatant lie. Oh,
Mm.
don't care about your background. Your background cannot put your back on the ground. You know all of those stories, right?
True. True.
It is not true, and I'll tell you why I said it is not true.
Okay.
Because what you would successfully do is you will jump a process, get to the front of your life, and something will stop you because of what you have not done. Let me give you an example of what I'm talking about. So I've seen someone, and I've seen this happen over time. I've been privileged to counsel a lot of people. I've been privileged to actually research on human behavior. And I've seen that when people come from very humble backgrounds, I mean, financially, very poor backgrounds, right? And they get a break in their lives and they start making financial progress, the chances that they are going to squander that money in a way that it cannot reproduce wealth is higher. Do you know why?
Why, sir?
It is because as they grow, they were deprived of a lot of things.
Mm.
And by the time they start to have a glimpse of wealth, and they did not take the time to deal with certain things, which I'm going to talk about today, they will
Okay.
overcompensate for the periods when they
Wait.
did not have those things. Go and check.
Yes. Yes.
They
True.
will overcompensate for the time when they did not. And that is where certain behaviors kick in. You see people buy things they don't need. You see people do things that just because they want to prove a point to their young self that now you have the opportunity
I
to
have
do
arrived.
this thing. You should get my point.
Yes.
I have arrived.
Yes.
This is the reason why when many ladies, for example, don't have very good relationships with their fathers growing up and all of that, the tendency that they will search for the missing father in a grown-up man is higher. Or the tendency that someone will be able to hurt them in a way that they do not like is higher. Now I'm setting all these precedents to get to where because it's a framework. It's not it's not outside of this. I'm trying to share the framework of it. It's essentially, oh, okay, it's Nigeria and it's Lagos. Let me go and turn on my generator.
Oh
Eh?
dear. All right.
But
No.
it is what it is. I
Okay.
promise.
No. So okay, guys. So while guest sorts out the power issue he's currently experiencing, I'll be walking us. We're going to be doing a recap of what he has talked about so far. So it started from what does it mean to be successful, okay? And yeah, I highlighted the fact that success is contextual, okay? It's your experience, it's dependent on you, it's your reality. You ought not to judge your success based on someone else's path or what someone else has done, but rather it's based on what you have done or what you've done in the past, where you are currently, and where you're going to be in the future. Okay, so our guest is back now, so I'll just need a brief recap. So, shoot, sir.
All right. Okay, thanks. So what I was saying initially was that first and foremost as a person, right? If you do not take the time to actually work on who you were, where you are coming from, when you get to where you want to go to, you will overcompensate for it. That's why you see people spend money they don't have to impress the people that really don't care about them. You know why? Something is missing. Essentially, something is missing. So, back to the first question: what does success mean to you? What does it mean to be successful? That's the first question.
That's
What does it
question. Yeah.
mean to be successful? Now, when you answer that question, we're talking about breaking mental limits, and it will take a lot of things. In answering that question, take into consideration first and foremost, you know, how do you define success? How did you come about your definition of what success is?
Yes.
Was it a mentor? Was it your family? Was it where you're coming from? Was it what exactly led to you defining what success means? Now, maybe for example, you come from a home where there is a specific way of doing things. Now, let me give another example. Um, I got married in 2020, and when I was about to get married, I I asked myself a simple question. So, why am I getting married? I'm getting married because of XYZ, right? Okay. How do I want to get married? I answered those questions. That determined the way I planned my wedding, the date I choose for my wedding, and every other factor. And I was comfortable with the outcome. I was comfortable. As a matter of fact, I felt like I wasn't even expecting some things to happen, and they actually happened, and I was shocked that they actually happened. I mean, positively, right?
Okay.
Because my
Yeah.
wedding was on a Tuesday, and the people that came
Wow.
for my wedding on a Tuesday were, people extremely busy people. I mean, as I get older, I start to appreciate time because time is something very precious.
Yes.
So why I brought up that conversation is after my wedding, I had a conversation with someone else, and I know that this person is, trying to gather himself, put himself together, and wanted to get married. And when he told me about the budget of his wedding,
Yeah.
I couldn't marry it in my head because I'm like, so why do you want to spend this much money? When of course you could actually redirect this amount of money. But then again, I told myself, I said, okay, you know what? Maybe that's just what he wants. But at that point, when we began to dig in, I discovered that the idea he had about the kind of wedding he wanted to have was not an
Yes.
idea he came up by himself. It was an idea that was sold and introduced to him, and he
Wow.
took it and defined it as his reality. Now, this is setting the precedence, and you know, I believe I've set enough background to help define what does it mean to be successful.
Me.
So you must answer that question within the context of your life as a person. What
Okay.
does it mean for me to be successful?
Successful.
if
Good.
you
Good.
if you have picked your definition from somebody else, make sure that you came to the realization that you chose this decision. I remember I studied philosophy and religion back at the university, and you know I think in my 200 level I realized that I had been a Christian all my life because I was born into Christianity. And it was
Okay.
at that point I needed to decide: do you want to be a Christian because you chose to be a Christian, or because you were, let me not call it coincidental, let me say predestined by, I'm born into Christianity.
Christian. Yes.
Now, question number one: what does it mean to be successful? Now, question number two is: why do you want to be successful?
Hmm.
Why? These questions, they seem They seem very easy. They seem very. What do you mean? Why? I don't understand. Who doesn't want? It's like saying, why do you want money? I said, Oga. What do you mean by why do you want money? Oga, I want money. So,
Because I want
yeah,
money.
I want money because what? Now you take a pen, you take a paper and start to list your reasons. I want money because one, I want to do this. I want money because two, I want to do this. Three, this. I want to be successful because of what? I want to be successful because, and actually, right? Take a pen, you know, take a paper and write it down. I want to do my graduate studies. Why? Because of what? Because, and then it sounds stupid. It sounds like a no-brainer, but someone once said that the easiest things that you see in life are the hardest to make.
Mm.
Now, when you sit with yourself and ask these questions, you will begin to realize that the reasons you have for wanting to do the things you want to do
Yeah.
are an end in itself. How do I
Mm.
mean? So, I want to be successful or I want to have money because I don't want to be poor. Okay? I want to have money because I just don't want people to treat me anyhow. I want to have
Mm.
money because I want to take care of my family. I want to have money because I want to be able to afford the things that I can. Now the question then is when you now have the money
Mm.
and you
Yeah.
have
Yeah.
achieved those things,
Yes.
there's something called the law of diminishing returns, and then it
Mm.
begins to set in because you have capped. Believe me, so I will always say this: prepare for success because a lot of us do not. We are we we spend so much of our time preparing ourselves, right, to actually
Yeah.
get that big break. But we do not spend sufficient time to prepare ourselves for when that break actually now happens. So
Okay.
so you now wake up all of a sudden. Your plan was that you were going to become a billionaire at 30. You became a billionaire at 25. So what happens with the next 5 years of your life?
Yeah. Mm.
Your plan was that it was going to take you 1 year to get into graduate school. Then you get in 6 months. What happens after the next 6 months? Okay, when we get there, we'll figure it out. Now, the danger in that is that you will live your life to multiple interpretations. Like you will just get there and you'll just be hanging. You'll just be there and you'll be wondering, okay, so what next? What next? What next? Why do you want to be so like why exactly do you want to be successful?
What's your motive?
Because the thing is, success should never be an end. It should be a means to an end. In other words, and that is where it becomes long lasting. So you want to set a goal, a success goal in your life where you I want to get into graduate school so that I can be a better person and can provide quality contribution to society. Do you know that that goal is a lifetime goal? It is endless.
True. True.
It's not
True.
time bound, it's not circumstance bound. Because what that does for you, it puts you on your toes every single time. And that is how you stay evergreen, ever.
Mm.
I never set a goal in my life that I wanted to get married before 30. I never set a goal in my life that I wanted to do this before 30. No.
Yeah.
I decided that I want to be someone that can be associated with value. That's all. Now, this simple thing I just said took me 5 years to craft. It took me 2014, 15, 16, 17, 18. It was by the end of 2018 I began to get it. It's okay, yes, this is it.
I mean,
I want to become a person associated with value.
yeah,
Now, the reason why I'm asking, why do you want to succeed? Is because when you decide why you want to succeed, then you are now prepared for anything and everything that will make you succeed.
hmm.
Why do I want to succeed? Okay, I want to succeed because I want to be associated with value. I
Value.
want to succeed because I want to be very valuable to my society. I want to be very valuable to my community. I want to be very
It's a game
valuable.
changer.
Then, sorry, can you hear me?
Yeah, yes, I can say it's
Then,
a game changer.
what then happens is good questions bring about better questions. So, when you say that you want to become a person of value, when you say that you want to become somebody that contributes very well to society, the next
Right.
question that now comes to your mind is, in what area? I want to go to graduate school. So, why do you want to go to graduate school? Because I want to become XYZ. I want to do this, do this, do this, right? What
Yes.
that does for you then is it defines your scope, your objective to then say, I want to get into graduate school. Because believe me when I say a lot of people are relocating, a lot of people are going for their masters simply because it's
Yes.
just a cool thing to do.
Exactly. Exactly.
Simply because it is just the cool thing to do. I want to have
True.
an Ivy League certificate in my CV. I want to do this. I want to do that. Look, I have set in not anything less than almost 1,000 interviews in my career. And I can tell you for free, a paper is not a guarantee that you will succeed in your life.
Hmm.
You know, I will tell you this for nothing. A paper is not a guarantee that you will
Guarantee.
succeed. It is not. What is a guarantee is that you have a solution to a problem. Simple. Now, the certificate, as the case may be, will open the door for you, will earn you respect in the room, will do things for you. And the essence of it is that that certificate, which is education, is supposed to replace your closed mind with an open one, whereby you are constantly taking things in. That's the essence of education, to replace a closed mind with an open one, right? Now,
Yeah.
you've answered the question, why do you want to succeed? You want to succeed because of this, right? Good.
Yes.
Now, the next question then is, what will it take you to succeed? What will it cost? See, um, nothing, believe me, absolutely nothing. I dare say not even the gospel of Jesus Christ is free.
Hmm.
Absolutely nothing. I tell you,
Nothing.
absolutely nothing. And I repeat it again, not even the gospel of Jesus Christ is free. You know why I said so? You have a
Why?
part to play and you will go through pain. Oh,
Hmm.
yes. You have a part to play and you will go through pain. So, if you have defined first what does success mean, why you want to succeed, then you are now answering the question, what will it cost you to succeed? Let me give you an example. Sometime in 2018, I was very young. No, no, 2017, I think. I was very young.
Okay.
Very, I mean, I even have some beers now, but I didn't have, I was very young, very small, but I thinking about it now, like, what actually gave me the confidence to do this? I put up a proposal together and I worked. I think I took an Uber that day and packaged myself. And then I went to the headquarters of Wema Bank of Marina in Lagos with my proposal in my hand and
Okay.
my suit gadged up. So I have a senior friend in Wema Bank actually.
Okay.
And then I told him that I wanted to come to Wema to come and submit a proposal. He was very magnanimous, and very encouraging. I said, okay, come. I came with my proposal. See me, young, small guy. Okay. Got into the premises, met the receptionist rather. That's where am I going to? I said, okay, I'm going to see Mr. So. So he said, okay. Do you have an appointment? I said, yes. I entered the lift. I got to his office. He saw me, looked at me, shook my hand, said, okay, that he will introduce me to the person who I'm actually going to speak to.
Okay.
So he introduced me to the then head of learning at the time. I think so, yeah. And then I sat down. Thinking about it now, I could imagine the guy just looking at me and say, I'm sure what was going through his mind was like, what's this boy doing? Like, no, not in a mean harsh way, not in a demeaning way,
Okay.
like really, like let me speak it in Nigerian language. What do you give this boy this kind of mind? Because he asked me, I was like, yeah, that I actually want to conduct a training for his people. I actually want to
Okay.
pitch and all of that. Yeah. Okay. Took my proposal because then we used to bind it with those blue paper
Yeah.
folders.
Yeah.
I binded the proposal. He took it for me. You know, was very nice. Didn't engage so much. Dropped my proposal and then I left. You know how the story ends. They never go back to me. You know, and you know, I I went back home that day. Weeks later, tried to reach him. Told me, okay, they're still thinking about it. I think like a month or 2 months later, some just told me, bro, forget about it. They ain't getting back to you. Right?
Yeah.
Reality check 101.
Hmm.
Reality check 101. I discovered there and then. It dawned on me that some things in your life will take time. Make
Hmm.
peace with it.
Hmm.
You see, it wasn't as if I wasn't competent. If you had put me in that room that day with those senior executives, I may have
Yeah.
delivered, but
True.
I would not deliver as well as I would have delivered today. Right? Reality
True.
check 101. Some things will take
Take time.
time in your life.
Hmm.
Make peace with it.
Hmm.
How to break mental limitations, right?
Yes.
Make peace.
Okay.
And I'm really very, these things, right? I'm not going to come here and give you mumbo jumbo or try to, bobo you as, our Nigerians would say. No, some things will take
Time.
time.
Hmm.
Because, for example, you may say, why did they not give him a chance? He was a young chap, just give him a chance. Ah, really? He's a young chap. The first question that is going through their head is, what has he done before?
Hmm.
What does he
Hmm.
know? What experience does he have?
Yeah.
And when they're
True.
asking those questions, it's not malicious. They are just relying, they are just playing it safe. So it will take time. Fast forward to a couple of years later. Hmm? Fast forward to a couple of years later. I
Yes.
am not
Just okay.
and I am not the one now going. I am now
Wow.
being invited to come and
Amazing.
facilitate trainings.
Amazing.
And I
Amazing.
am paid good money for doing that. Back then,
Amazing.
if you had given me the opportunity to do it for free, I would be happy to do it.
True.
Some things would take time. Look, you Just make peace in your mind that you may not apply for that thing once and get it. That doesn't make you dull. That doesn't make you stupid. That
Mm.
doesn't make you less intelligent. It is just that life eh? Life will stress test you. It's stress test. Do you have so do you have what it takes to truly be successful? Believe me when I say that when you eventually get into graduate school,
Yeah.
graduate in flying colors, get the job of your dreams, get a very well paying get a very nice apartment, get all the fancy things you want in life, which are very beautiful.
Yes.
Somebody will sit down somewhere with the power of 140 characters on a particular app and say that you were lucky, that
Mm.
you were born with a silver spoon. When somebody says that, what will your response be? What will your response really be? You will lash out. What do you know where I'm coming from?
The
You see,
that
you,
sacrifice.
all that's like what see failure. There is no such thing as failure. Mm-mm.
Mm.
There is no see when you know this, you will know
Yeah.
peace.
Mm.
That there is no such thing as failure. You
Yeah.
have just, like this guy says, found 1,000 ways not to generate power.
Mm.
I just see, after that day, I found out that if you want to get into management consulting, you cannot just walk into the door young and naive, and it's not possible. Right? When you
Yes.
write that first application, gather that first document, and you do not make it, the question you want to ask yourself is, why did I not? What am I missing? That you do not know something does not mean that the knowledge about that thing is not existing somewhere else. Go and find it. But you cannot go for what you want if you have a limiting belief to think that you can do it once. I'm not saying that you cannot do it once and get it once. You must prepare your mind. It is a limitation to think that you are not human. It is a
Yes.
limitation to think
Mm.
that you will not
Listen.
experience pain. It is a limitation to think that you are an exception to pain.
Mm.
I'm really sorry if I'm shaking your religious table or your religious
Shake
beliefs.
our table.
I'm
Shake our
sorry.
table, sir.
I'm sorry, but I'm just telling you beforehand. This doesn't mean that you cannot get it right the first time. Yeah, you can be smart, you can be intelligent, you can be fantastic, and you will fail the first time.
Mm.
It may just not be anything, it may just be life testing you. I remember when I had my first carryover in the university, I almost died. First ever. That was the first time in my life I was ever writing an exam twice. First time ever in my life. Eh? I was in 200 level going 300 level. Let me paint the picture in your mind. In your mind, I was the departmental secretary at the time, and as a departmental secretary, I was hosting tutorials
I
in
said, who are you
B2.
go?
Yeah,
Don't let them
I was
come
hosting
inside.
I was hosting tutorials in B2, B1 axis, right? Back then in University of Benin.
Yes.
So me, smart guy, I'm the one they will come and meet for a particular course of one of my lecturer. God bless you. So it's passed. I didn't fail the course though.
Yes.
But I was departmental secretary hosting tutorial. I was class rep hosting tutorial, smart guy. Going to
Yeah.
300 level, I was going to become president. And imagine that the president will enter into a 200 level exam hall to come and write career. I almost died. I almost died. Say,
Mm.
really? After that, see, those were some of the times that life started to teach me. you are not an exception to the kickbacks of life.
Mm.
It is a limitation to think that you are not human. So, because you are human, you will face pain. You will write that exam once and you may fail. I'm not saying you will fail and you may fail. The question then is, when you fail, what happens? You respond and you don't react. What many people do is that they react. Oh, I'm the smartest guy now. How can they? Like, really? Me fail? No, it must be them, not me. It must be them. No, it can't be me. It can't be me. How? A better approach is to say, okay, I don't know where I went wrong, but I'll go again. I don't know
Mm.
where I went wrong, but I'll go again.
Okay.
So, question number one: what does it mean to succeed? Why do you want to succeed? What will it take you to succeed?
Succeed.
Now, I am telling you now what it will take you to succeed. And this is where we enter into breaking the mental limit. One, accept that you are human
Mm.
and that in your humanity, you will face different challenges about life. Let me
Mm.
tell you a little unrelated story. In 2019, I had traveled down to Port Harcourt and I was back in Lagos. And it's actually the first time I'm telling the story. I
Okay.
traveled down to Port Harcourt and I was back to Lagos. And I went to work one day, and while I was at work, it was raining, and someone had just called me. So a guy that lives in my area actually called me and said, "Guys, start coming home now." So I was going on. This is very strange. Took permission from the office, and then I came home. As I dropped in front of my house, I saw that the heavy rain had pulled out. So I stay on the topmost floor, the flat on the topmost floor.
Okay.
I saw that the rain had pulled out the entire roof of that
Okay.
building,
Wow.
and my entire property was drenched in rain. I stood there
Oh dear.
looking at the building, and you know what came out of my mouth? It's time to move. That
Mm.
was all I said. I went in, everywhere was a mess. I was disorganized for about a month. But that was one of the moments in my life I knew that I had gotten to a point in my life where I respond and I don't react.
Mm.
A couple of months later, I moved into another apartment, way better than that, right? And things just dramatically turned around. So, when tragedy strikes, what do you do? Breaking a limiting belief, you must experience, you must accept one, you're human. Point number two, for you to succeed, you must be able to deal with doubts. Hmm. For you to, so now we are going into breaking limits and
Yes.
developing a mind of success. Look, I watched an interview one time and it was by Oprah Winfrey. And she said that she has interviewed some of the best minds you can ever think of in this world. Barack Obama, name them. And that after every show, they will always ask, "Hope I did well." And she's like, "How can you be asking, hope I did well? Like, you?"
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I don't understand what you mean by the truth is this: you must, as a person, learn to deal with doubt.
Doubt.
You must learn to deal with doubt. And how do you deal with doubt? Right? Engage your mind in conversations. Engage your mind in conversation. So you want to do something, and then something just comes up and says, "Nah, don't try it." Don't think you can do it. That thing that is talking to you is nothing except a voice in your head. What we usually do is we assume that that person talking is you. Now, what you need to do is to first and foremost understand this is how to deal with doubt. That you are not the voice in your head. You are just a person listening to the voice in your head. When you do that, you have detached yourself and you have taken a third person approach. When you take a third person approach in terms of your thinking, your mind disassociates yourself and you have a tendency of thinking clearer than if you think that, oh, it is me.
Mm.
So when he says, oh, you can't do these things, okay, how true? That's when you now start to question when you have taken the third party approach, and then it's just like somebody coming to tell you, let me say, for example, somebody comes to tell you, Emmanuel, that you are not dark, you are fair. You're like, okay, okay. But I can see myself in the mirror, I am
Yes.
dark. Now you begin to poke holes into it. But why can't I do this? Dealing with doubt. And I would wrap up with where does doubt come from and why it's important for you to deal with these three things: your upbringing, your environment, and the significant emotional experience that you.
Yeah.
Now I'm talking about the significant emotional experiences, doubt, right? How do you deal with doubt? Doubt. Another thing you need to be able to understand in terms of breaking a limiting belief and essentially building it, because once you have broken the barriers of limiting beliefs in your mind, then you are set for success, whatever success then means to you. Because it is only you that actually can stop you. I know you've heard that a lot of times, but it is true actually,
True.
right? Now, significant emotional experiences. How do you deal with doubt? Second one, how do you celebrate? How do you celebrate?
Yes.
I know a lot of people that do not care for themselves. I know I used to be there. I know a lot of people who don't have respect for themselves. You know, I always say, respect yourself, respect yourself, respect yourself, respect yourself, respect yourself. Right? Ah, yes. I know a lot of people who don't have respect for themselves, and a lot of people who don't take care of themselves. What does it mean to actually respect yourself and take care of yourself? So I'm saying now, significant emotional experience. I've talked about dealing with doubt. I'm talking about how do you celebrate. When things happen in your life that gives you joy, learn to celebrate it. Take yourself out for a drink, buy yourself something, do something to hatch that memory into your brain so much that your mind begins to crave for that kind of experience. And what it now does is it pushes you to do better and become better so you can recreate that experience. Nothing more than that.
Wow.
Because a lot of us do not care for ourselves. A lot of us do not celebrate our wins because we just feel like, what's this compared to so small?
Yes.
Actually,
Yes.
I woke up a couple of days back and then it just hit me. It's like many of the things I have always wished for, I now have them. And I have not even stopped to take it in and to soak it in. So I literally just stopped and I said, wow, okay. I took myself out, I bought myself stuff. It dawned on me that it is important to do that because what it does is, like my wife would say, you are the product. You have to take care of yourself. Significant emotional experience. How do you deal with pain? How do you deal with joy? Right? The way you deal with pain is that as an individual, right, you respond and not react. The way you use joy is that when something good happens, learn to soak it in. When people praise you, don't dismiss it. Don't say, stop, you know they watch me. Soak it in. Someone says they are good, soak it in. Significant emotional experience. The second one, as I start to round up, is your upbringing. You see, when they say your background cannot bring your back on the ground, it's not true. As a matter of fact, your background can hold you to the ground so much that you can't even breathe. You choke and that you cannot even get up. Right? Now, essentially, what you then need to do as an individual is to go back and look at where you are coming from and then ask yourself, what kinds of belief have I picked up from where I am coming from that is not sufficient to save me where I'm going to? Do you know that sometimes some of us find it difficult to just walk into a grocery store? Just walk in. Some of us find it difficult to walk into an expensive store, an expensive car garage, or an expensive showroom. Just to walk. Nobody's saying you should buy. Have you? If you struggle with it, right? Know that something somewhere is holding you back. And you know what that something is? Someone has drummed it so much into your ear that when it comes to expensive stuff, when it comes to premium stuff, it is not for
Yes.
you.
Not deserving of it.
Some I can never forget the day, the first day in my life, I ever removed a specific amount of money to buy something. I felt guilty for doing it. I'm like, what's good? That was the beginning. Started to crack, started to crack, started to crack, started to
Mm.
crack. Now, I'm not saying that I'm extravagant, but I can walk into a grocery store today. I may not buy anything, no, but I'll walk in. Do you know why? Because I have come to a point where I feel like I deserve what is in this store and
Yes.
that I can afford what is in this store.
Yes.
I may not have the money now, but I can afford what is in this store. So many of you, listen up, you are applying for schools. Meanwhile, in the heart of your heart, you don't believe that you enter that school. In the heart of your heart, you don't believe.
Mm.
If you ask many of you, if you ask many of your clients, do you want to go to Harvard? Ah, yes, I want to go to Harvard. Oh, yes, I want to. When you dig deep, you will realize that not many of them believe they can go to Harvard by the kind of things they say.
Mm.
You want to go to Harvard? Yes. Ah, yes, I want to go to Harvard now. Ah, yes, oh, I want to go. Okay. Harvard school fees is $2 million. Eh? Ah, no. $2 million. Oh, this Harvard thing, we like saying it forever.
Yeah.
I'm like, this Harvard thing, like saying it forever. Do you want to go to Harvard? Yes, yes, yes. You want to go? Okay. Meanwhile, the first thing that comes to your mind is that you think that you cannot afford Harvard. Therefore, you do not deserve to be in Harvard. But you forget that you don't have to pay with your own money. That's where funding comes in. See, I get
True.
my point. If
True.
you believe fundamentally there's no mental block somewhere that you can get into Harvard, when they tell you that that school fees is $2 million, the first thing that comes to your head is, how do I get it? Not, it's too expensive.
Yes.
You see, not how do I get it is different from it's too expensive. And
True.
this is because your background as to where you are coming from, you have heard it too many times. Money does not grow on tree. You've heard it a million times. Money does not grow on tree. Do you think money grows on tree? What? Do you think? Go and turn off that tap. Do you know how much you're wasting on electricity? So our parents didn't really do a fantastic job. They were dropping those limitations into your head. So every time you walk past a grocery store, your mind comes in. This is premium, it's expensive, money does not grow on tree. You can't afford this.
True.
When you want to apply for that Ivy League school, right? Ah, this school is too expensive. It's not for people like us.
Mm.
It will even inform the way you write your open statement. As a matter of fact,
True.
somebody can write a fantastic open statement for you, but when it comes for a one-on-one CV, you will self-sabotage. You will sabotage yourself. Let me give you a typical example of what I'm talking about. So I know somebody who says, I want to make 10 million this year, cash, 10 million
Okay.
profit. And then you ask first, okay, you want to make 10 million profit, right? Okay, good. And then say, okay, you need to go to so and so place, spend time in so and so place, one or two or three times, right? And then the person goes there and starts to network. True story. Starts to
Yeah.
network. I mean, I'm trying. I'm not going to mention names essentially. Goes there, starts to network, and then you meet a high profile person, and then the high profile person says, "What do you do?" Said, "Oh yeah, this that. Okay, wow, really? Yeah, okay. Can I get your card? Let's exchange contacts. Let's meet so and so place. Let's do business." You take that card, and then you go back and you never call that person. Do you know why you never call that person? Somewhere in your mind, something is telling you that this thing is scam. It's too easy.
Hmm.
How can somebody don't meet me, don't know me, and you want to do a transaction of business with me and you want to pay me 10 million? Scam is scam. Meanwhile, it is possible, but that is true. Why? Over time, you have learned that making money is hard. Over time, you have learned that making money is hard. Therefore, you must sweat, suffer. I'm not saying you won't go through pain. Yes, you will go through disappointment and pain, but it doesn't mean that that thing cannot come just like that. So you self-sabotage, I fake this person, and then maybe you just realize one day somebody has done their had pushed out the idea in the market, and this same person you met funded it. You're like, why did I not go to the person? What was really keeping me? I was busy. You were not busy. Computer, delete incorrect answers and leave correct answers with us. It is what we call the reticular activating system in your brain. The reticular activating system in your brain is the gateway center of your brain. That is the reason why if you love a particular car, you see that car 10 times in a month. But if you don't love something, it doesn't come into your consciousness. So because you have a mental block about how to make money, it coming easy in fact, it can never cross your mind. In fact, as a matter of fact, when it crosses your mind, what the reticular activity system does is it removes it, because almost 2 billion bits of information hit you every second. So what the reticular activity system does is it helps you to filter what you want, what is
True.
already
Yeah.
subconsciously inside of you, and allows it to
Yeah.
pass through. So
Yes.
your background, you must go back and deal with it. And how do you deal with it? Ask yourself, what beliefs have you picked up from growing up that does not serve you today? Beliefs such as money does not grow on grass. Beliefs such as making money is difficult. Beliefs such as strangers are evil. Belief such as wealth, big man, big problem. Ah. You know, if you have the belief that big man, big problem, it is possible that you can never ever become big in your life. See, because you will always sabotage. I don't want to go into all the technicalities, but I'm just telling you high level.
Yes.
What it does is every time you get an opportunity to go big, you will sabotage it.
Sabotage.
If you believe strongly that white people are racists, it will be difficult for you to get into that country where you want to get to. Because as you sit for the interview, what you'll be seeing, the way, whatever they are saying, you will interpret it through the lens of racism. And you would assume that they are coming for you. On social media, everybody have haters. Even people that they don't know, say I have haters. Really? Oh, are you really even sure that people know you or people even care about you?
True.
So go back to your background. and
And
deal
deal with
with
it.
all the beliefs that you have inherited
Yeah.
that are stopping you from doing the things that you want to do. Those beliefs come in form of the truths that you have been told as a child, the truths that you have been told by your guardian, the truths that you have come to believe as true. So, in other words, for you to develop a mind of success, you must question everything you've ever known. Everything. Why do I know this? Why do I behave like this? Why do I believe this thing? Why? How did I come here? Then finally, your environment. You see, I've always said this, and I will end by saying that it is difficult, nearly impossible
Yeah.
for a crab, right, to be
Yes.
put in a basket with fellow crabs and for that crab to climb out. You know why? As
The
the
others will
crab
try
makes an
to
attempt to, they
the
hold
others
it
will
down.
try to drag it down. True. True.
Now I'm telling you, and I'm saying this without apology, some of you would have to leave home to succeed. Some of you would have to leave your familiar environment to really succeed in this thing that you want to do. Because there are too many people around you who are not going in the same direction, who don't want the things that you want, and you're hanging around them. Oh, you want to change them. You're not God. You cannot change them. I will always say, go and be successful. Come back and rescue others. But for now, run.
Go and
For now, run. And I say it again. For now, run. People will be unhappy with you. People will say you have slighted them. People will be angry. But I tell you emphatically, believe me, and I and this is on record for you to come back and reference.
Yeah.
When you succeed, all of those feelings will not matter anymore. All that will matter is they would want to identify with you. Ah, now my guy, now my guy, now my babe, now I know him. So for the sake of your life and for the sake of what you want to achieve in this,
Yeah.
you must watch your environment.
Wow.
So I would stop talking now, and I will hand over back to you, Emmanuel. I know I already passed time.
Thank you so much. Wow, amazing. My my book, my notepad is filled already with notes I've taken from this class. Yeah, and then I like the way you took out time, started by asking us specific questions. Okay, what does success mean to us? Okay, what do we need to succeed? Okay, and then walking us through the limitations our environment can bring, um, can affect the way we think, our belief system, yeah, our upbringing, all of this comes into play. And then you said something very striking, that we should accept that we are human. I think that that's like one of the major take home for me. Yeah. And then accepting that we are human. Because for some persons they find it hard to actually accept that it's normal for you to in quote fail at the first time of trying. Yeah, it's normal. It's normal. But then at the end of the day, once your mindset is able to come into play and you've questioned literally every belief that you had while growing up, okay, and then you now begin to respond rather than react, like some of the things you've also stated. Then when we do have victory, we should learn to soak it all in. Okay, when something good happens, we should learn to soak it in. Okay, and some things in our life obviously will take time, and we should make peace with it. I think I don't want to, let me just end it at that. Let me end it there. Let me end my recap there. Some things in life will take time. So while you're applying now, yeah, it's like, oh, that's even why I encourage you apply to many schools, not just focus on just one school. So when you're applying to many schools, it's like you, instead of you having to apply for one school this year and fail, and come back next year and apply to another school and fail. Now you're increasing you're making a pool such that even if you're going to fail, you fail within that 1 year. And thank God there's that opportunity. Yeah, you're not restricted. You can apply to as many schools as you want to. Yeah, so you within that 1 year gap, you can gain some and then eventually decide to tilt towards one at the end of the day. It's better to have choices. Yeah, it's better to have choices, and then but then you may actually experience failure. You may get some rejections from schools that you even have vowed that I must go to this school, but you may get rejection. So having the mindset to be willing to still adapt and be flexible, it's also a plus. I want to say thank you so much, Mr. Francis Arihilam, for this wonderful session. Okay, I don't know if we'll be able to take one or two questions, or yeah, I don't know. You can type in your questions in the
Yeah.
comments. Okay, we may be able to take in one or two questions, but then this video obviously it's live now, yeah, but it's going to be uploaded immediately after this session. So you could probably still leave if you don't have any question now. You can leave it in the comments. Maybe some person will come and watch later. And then you can also drop comments for Mr. Francis as well. What was your take home? Yeah. What was your take home? You can drop it in the comments and also share on social media. Let your friends know that this session did hold, and then they can come here and review it. Okay, Oshoka is saying thank you so much. Okay, this is for Mr. Francis Arilam, obviously. So thank you,
Thank you. Take care.
thank you very much
Thank you
for
for
this
spending the evening
wonderful
with me.
session. Ah, it's a
It's my
privilege. Okay,
pleasure.
Sarah Kalitu is saying thank you so much.
Thank you,
So thank you so
Sarah.
much.
Thank you
I,
for spending the
I
evening with
thoroughly
me.
enjoyed. I thoroughly enjoyed this. I thoroughly enjoyed this. So thank you so much, sir.
Same
So
here.
I guess we'll end here. So maybe just two sentences as closing remarks, and then we'll call it a day from your end, sir.
Um, my two sentences are that you are right where you should start from, right?
Mm.
You are right where you should start from. And I want you to really think about this. Many times we feel like times have passed and a lot
Yeah.
has happened and people have gone ahead of us. But I know that life is a leveler.
Mm.
And by the time you get into where you want to get to, you owe nobody any explanation about why you got there late because you're not working with anybody's timing and it is your definition of success. So the time to start is now. You are right where you should start
Thank
from. Thank you so much, Emmanuel. I'm so
you.
grateful for spending
Thank
this
you.
Saturday evening with you, man.
Thank you so much. Yeah, do have a lovely evening, everybody, and have a nice weekend. Enjoy your weekend. Bye, everybody. Bye.
Fantastic. Bye.